I think that it can't come out a little more.
Yeah, you can see.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I thank Dr. Siddharth for giving us an opportunity to discuss about the concept of total hypersensitivity with RxTx. First, total hypersensitivity, as we all know, that hypersensitivity has been classified with immediate hypersensitivity and delayed hypersensitivity. So we are here today to discuss about both the concepts, and I would also discuss the solution we have came upon with India. First, we will discuss about the immediate hypersensitivity, which is classically known as allergic reaction. So I'll just explain about the basic of allergy, because you all know about what is allergy and what is how the allergy is caused, what is the prevalence of allergy. So we will just rush through few slides of the prevalence of allergy, and then the main concept of coming here is what is the diagnostic solution we have came up in India. So as we all know that allergy is a hypersensitivity which has been initiated by immunological mechanisms. Mostly the allergies are initiated by IgE antibodies. In this, the foreign particles are which comes in contact with our body, known as allergens. When it comes in, initially when it comes in contact with our body, the B cells gets activated, and it activates it then binds with the IgE antibodies and activates the mast cells, which in turn releases the histamine, and this release in histamine, it produces different kind of symptoms like asthma, sneezing, wheezing, different kind of symptoms of allergic, or it leads to allergic reaction. According to the prevalence study what we have done in India, we found that these are the most common allergens in India, which includes from your weeds to your occupational allergens. So these are the most common allergens what we found in India. The allergic disease and symptoms, as you can see, is rising day to day. Okay, the allergic disease has been taken up from rhinitis to food allergy. These are the all different kind of symptoms which is giving rise to allergic disease. So as we go to the how allergy testing is increasing, or how the allergy is increasing from day to day, we see that prevalence of allergic disease in globally it is 30 to 40%, and the severity has increased from mild rash to anaphylaxis. The range of allergic disease, you can see it ranges from a mild rash to an anaphylactic shock. The anaphylactic shock, which is a life-threatening disorder, which was very, very rare 10 years before or few years before. Thus, it is also increasing the complexity of allergens, which is known as polysensitization. So if you see in India, among the total population, the study shows that 20 to 30% of population is suffering from either of the allergies, like food allergy, drug allergy, mites and more allergy, or respiratory allergy, or like asthma, allergic rhinitis. Either of the allergy symptoms, 20 to 30% of population is suffering. But we have done another study where we found that 30 years before, allergic rhinitis was only 10% and asthma was only 1%, which has now increased to 30% and 15% respectively. So thus we can see here how allergy is rising, how the prevalence or the severity of allergy is rising on day-to-day basis or in year-to-year basis. Every year when the study was made, it was found that the allergy has increased to some percentage. Then we come across with the study of allergic march. As you all must be aware of, that if the allergy is not been treated at a very early intervention or in a very early stage, it can lead to a severe allergic disease. That stage-wise allergic or the stage-wise antibody responding to the allergic disease is known as allergic march. I explain you in the way that suppose a child is suffering from any mild rash in a very small age, suppose a newborn baby is suffering from any kind of rash, We generally avoid it thinking the skin is sensitive, but we do not go for any kind of allergic test. But as the child grows up or with the age, this leads to a severity of allergic disease, leading to a it could be a life-threatening also. Thus, with age, as the allergic severity increases, this stage-wise growing of allergy is known as allergic march. Atopy, as we all know, it is the predisposition towards the developing of allergic hypersensitivity. It all basically depends upon the generic. Generic predisposition or the hereditary predisposition, where we come across that how the family members are affected by allergy or how the family members is involved with allergy. If no family members is suffering from allergy, then there are chances that 5 to 15% of the offspring will be suffering or the next generation will be suffering. If only one sibling is suffering, then the chances that 25 to 35% of chances are there that the next generation will suffer. If both the parents are allergic, if both the parents are allergic, then chances there are 60% of chances that the next generation will suffer from allergy. So this way we find out the clinical history of a patient suffering from allergy. What is the chances the patient whom we are testing what is the chances of having his allergy? Now, as we have seen the severity of allergy and the prevalence rate in India, we could now find that why the allergy test is so important. Just to know how we should avoid the allergens, we first have to get the test is important to know that against which specific allergens one should avoid, against which specific allergens the measure has to be taken, against which specific allergen the immunotherapy or the pharmacological therapy has to be given. Thus, to know all these things, the test is very, very important. And as the prevalence rate or as the severity of allergy has increased from 1% to 15% in asthma, as we can see the severity rate is increasing on year basis. So the test has become now more important. When an individual comes in, when an individual visits, it all depends that how the individual is severe. So first we have to see that what is the physical appearance, or we can rather see that what symptoms a patient is suffering from. First we can just talk with a patient and come to know that what environment he has came across. That is what we take as a clinical history. Thus we can then ask the patient to go for a specific test and do the allergy test. And the test can be done by different methods. So first, the diagnostic of allergy is based first on clinical history. Based on the clinical history, one can just suggest that okay, this allergens can be recommended for testing, or this allergen test can be, or the panel can be recommended for the test. Secondly, is the diagnostic solution in India are there are two diagnostic methods. One is in vivo and secondly in vitro. In vivo, mostly skin prick method has been taken up, which is considered as a gold standard method. In vitro, we have various number of allergy tests. Like we have immunocap, we have with ELISA, we have different other ELISA methods also, and we have the screening panels also. So there are basically two different methods, in vitro and in vivo. In vivo basically is done by pricking the specific allergens into the epidermal of the skin of the patient directly, and against which whatever sensitization they developed on the skin, they measure, they just check the circumference of that the sensitivity of the skin, and then they result it. But in vitro is for the specific IgE in serum or plasma. The clinical history of a patient, as I already discussed with you, the clinical history of a patient is very, very important before recommending it for any allergy test. This clinical history first gives you the frequency about the severity, how severe the patient could be. Once you talk with the patient and get the clinical history, we come to know across which environment he has went or what kind of food he has taken or against which allergens, a perspective can be made out of it. Then we come to know about the atopic hereditary, like one of the sibling is suffering or both the parents are suffering, or what is the chances of the severity or what is the chances of allergy the patient is suffering from. So through this clinical history, we can also come across with what exposure of allergens a patient might have come. Thus, it is very important to take the clinical history before recommending for any kind of allergy test. Now in India, the type of testing we have came up, many companies have came up rather. One is with ELISA methods, different ELISA methods, and one is the gold standard technology of ImmunoCAP. What we have came up with is AllergoDip, which is a screening panel or which is a semi-quantitative determination of IgE in serum or plasma. And another is the ELISA method, which is a quantitative method with the liquid allergens for specific IgE. Thus, we have got an opportunity where a new high binding capacity non-isotopic labels for detection of antibodies and standard calibrated WHO IgE reference preparation have been permitted, and we have developed the second and third generation of allergy assays, which has improved, this assay has permitted, or this assay has came up with the improved precision, accuracy, and with the analytical sensitivity. As you can see here, AllergoDip is an enzyme immunoassay for semi-quantitative determination of specific IgE in serum or plasma. Currently in India, we have came upon with only 2 panels. We are working with more. Currently, we have came upon with Inhalation India and Food India. These allergens have been selected after making an extensive study across India. We have selected these allergens. Thus, what we are providing, or Omega is providing, is the regional panel. That is the panel which is exclusively Indian-based allergens. It can be used with both serum and plasma. All the ready-to-use reagents and consumables are provided inside the kit. So what you require is only the serum and plasma of a patient. Minimal hands-on time is required because no instrument is required to run this test and to interpret. But shortly we are coming up with the interpretation app software, which I will discuss with you shortly. Integrated positive and negative controls are there in the pad only. And now, as I already discussed, it is a very cost effective because no equipment is required to run this test. And the best part of this AllergoDip, that we have a very good concordance study or good agreement with CAP and SPT, which has been considered as the gold standard method for in vitro and in vivo respectively. So as you can see, the evaluation studies has been done with CAP, where 100% concordance can be seen with ImmunoCAP, which is a gold standard method for in vitro test. And evaluation study has been done with SPT, that is skin prick test and nasal provocation test, and we have got a very good concordance of 95.8%. This gives a very good sensitivity of 97.8% and specificity of 100% to AllergoDip. And last not the least is the treatment, that is the post-diagnostic solution. Is we have to educate the patient with what food they are allergic to, they should not take, or what allergens they are positive with. They should not come in exposure to those allergens in lifetime. The medication can be done, or the drugs are effective by means of controlling or treating these allergies. But medication, through studies we found that medication does not cure allergy. It just suppresses the allergy. It is not curing. For a time being, it is just suppresses it. But the actual treatment is that only, that the patient should not come in exposure to the allergens. And the immunotherapy, depending upon the specific allergens, the immunotherapy doses can be monitored. Now the best thing which I was coming up with, that at present we are just giving a semi-quantitative determination of allergotip, but soon we are launching a Android-based app which will be applicable only the Android platform of mobile phones, which you can download the links and you can give a quantitative test with this script with the same allergotip. So this is the point. In few days or probably in soon we will be launching this app through which you can give the quantitative reports as well. So this was all about allergy.
Immunotherapy is now very different. Standardized allergens are not available. Okay.
The second part of the hypersensitivity which I was discussing about was delayed response to any food, which is known as food intolerance. The hypersensitivity, as I already discussed with you, has been classified in two forms, immediate and delayed. And the delayed form is known as food intolerance. I just wanted to understand first that how many sitting here know about food intolerance. Okay. Okay. We'll just go. Food, it is not known today. It is the concept which has not been built in 1 year, or this concept is nothing new to us. This concept has been well accepted, and this concept is known from 75 BC, which has been given by Lucretius Sirca, who said that what is food to one man could be a poison to another. Let's see how. The food or the adverse reaction to food can be due to immune mediated, or it could be due to non-immune mediated. The non-immune mediated can lead to enzyme deficiency, or the adverse reaction to non-immune mediated could be due to pharmacological effects or due to chemical effects, which is known as food intolerance. But at the same time, immune mediated has been classified under IgE, where the adverse reaction is if it is very immediate through IgE antibodies, which we classically call as allergic reaction. And the IgE, which is a type 3 hypersensitivity, which has been classified as food intolerance, which is giving the adverse reaction to food but not immediate. It is giving in a delayed form. So thus IgG and non-immune mediated through enzyme deficiency, pharmacological effects and chemical effects, they share the common terminology as food intolerance. What we are going to discuss is majorly about IgG antibodies, which we detect also. But IgG has been found through various studies that IgG is mostly involved with food intolerance. But it is very important to understand the difference between food allergy and food intolerance, because until unless this concept has been well accepted that food allergy is a different concept and food intolerance is very different concept, the diagnostic or the diagnostic therapy or the diagnostic solution, it becomes very complex. The major confusion today is arising that people are thinking that food intolerance, food allergy, both are common things. But actually both are very, very different things. So let's see what is food allergy first. As we have already discussed, mostly allergy are caused due to the production of IgE antibodies. Now the foreign food particles which causes immediate reaction due to IgE antibodies has been classified under food allergy. This is caused due to rapid release of the histamines which get activated due to the activation of mast cells. The histamines are released and the immediate reaction due to food can be caused. And this can cause your various symptoms like breathing problem or the anaphylactic shock. As I already discussed, it could be from mild irritation to anaphylactic shock. Thus, the food allergy could be life-threatening at times. And the only solution to avoid the food for lifetime. Whereas in food intolerance, it is due to the production of IgG antibodies. When we have studied, we found that 45% of the population is suffering from food intolerance. This thus producing multiple symptoms because it is very non-specific. The food intolerance could be due to some kind of food which might be affecting to another organ, and it is giving some other symptom only. So it is very complex, multiple symptom has been produced, and thus people get it is very difficult to diagnose or very difficult to find out that why the symptom is occurring or why the person is suffering from that symptoms. And due to that reason, most of the people remain undiagnosed, and many clients are thus getting affected due to this. Thus, we found that the delayed reaction to foreign food particles, unlike allergy, which is caused within an hour or within 4 or 5 hours or within days, that is after consumption of food, it is giving rise to food intolerance. The body produces IgG antibodies to neutralize the antigen, and this then antibody and antigen, they thus form a complex, and if this complex has not been removed by the immune receptor called macrophages, then it gets deposited in our body and it causes food intolerance. And when it gets deposited in our body, it gives rise to complement cascades or different kind of symptoms by releasing the inflammatory mediators. Thus it leads to the chronic inflammation by gradually appearance of the symptoms. It could be like simple joint pain to the arthritis, or it could be simple headache to migraine, it could be obesity, it could be various symptoms. These symptoms are not life-threatening, but it is making a sufferer really very uncomfortable to live a life. The symptoms can be suppressed, or the symptoms can be reduced by elimination of the food just for few months. I'll just discuss about the post-diagnostic therapy about food intolerance, where we can see that the food intolerance can be cured, or the symptoms can be reduced by just avoiding the food only for 3 months. Just to know why the symptoms are occurring, it is difficult to diagnose food intolerance, or the symptoms could be due to food intolerance. Let's see what is the mechanism exactly is behind food intolerance. This is a normal gut villi where we can see all the villi are attached to each other tightly. Thus, when the partially digested food are entered into our body, it forms an antigen-antibody complex, and at the same time, immune system, it produces macrophages, which removes all these antibodies from our body, and thus no symptoms has been produced. But when it is a compromised immune system, in the case of compromised immune system, this compromised immune system could be due to any reason, like pharmacological effect could be there, it could be due to enzyme deficiency of the body. There is a permeable gap between the villi walls. Thus, it allows the partially digested food to be entered in the body in more amount. And the immune receptor which has to produce by our immune system is not in large amount, and thus it is getting deposited in our tissues, going through our bloodstream and producing symptoms. In case of leaky gastrointestinal tract, which could be due to various reasons like enzyme deficiency, pharmacological effect, alcohol intake, due to stress, due to many reasons are involved with leaky gut system, or bacterial flora is not developed properly. So due to this, the leaky gut, the permeable gap between the villi, it increases more. Thus it allows when the partially digested food enters into the gut villi, the antibody and antigen complex has been formed. The immune receptor could not make that amount of macrophages which they have to make. and thus it cannot be removed by the macrophages. It gets deposited in our tissue and produces multiple symptoms. Now if you see the symptoms of food intolerance, you can see that it involves the large organ. It involves from head to toe. Any organ food intolerance can affect. It could lead to the symptoms like asthma, rhinitis. It could lead to wheezing cough. It could lead to gastrointestinal symptoms. It could lead to dermat symptoms. It could lead to obesity. It could lead to heart problems, joint pains, rheumatoid arthritis. With pediatricians or with child, you can see the multiple symptoms like chronic fatigue, ADHD, then concentration problem, anxiety, behavioral changes, depression, insomnia, weight problem. There are many symptoms which has been involved, and many studies they prove now that these symptoms could be one of the reasons due to food intolerance. This is very important to know the root cause of these symptoms. But as I discussed already in the first slide, that these symptoms, since it has not been diagnosed properly, or people just think, okay, diarrhea, maybe a child must have had something last night, might be due to that the diarrhea has happened. Or ADHD, the child is not concentrating in his studies. But actually, what is the reason behind it? Nobody knows about it. They just go through certain kind of medication, they just go through certain kind of treatments. But those treatments or those medication could have the adverse effect in the body itself also. Thus, to know the root cause of the food intolerance is very important. So as you can see that many symptoms are there which are related to food intolerance or due to food intolerance. It is very difficult to identify what is the cause behind these symptoms. Thus, many studies they have involved and said that IgG testing can be useful to diagnose or to eliminate these foods. What Omega offers about food intolerance test is one Omega has launched with a very compact kit of food detective and another with a higher version of Generite system. If we go to food detective, it is a rapid test kit for detection of food IgG antibodies, which involves only 59 common foods, which are mostly Indian panels. It is a very rapid test which involves the basic ELISA method and gives the result in only 40 minutes. Requires only finger prick of blood sample, so a child need not to be fear about an injection or anything. Just a finger prick of blood is required to run this test. Color coded reagents is there. It is a very compact kit, as you can see. It is a very compact kit which involves all the basic consumable inside the kit. Just you require a patient and a finger prick of blood. The interpretation has been given on the basis of the color gradation. So white gives clear negative, with a pale blue it gives weak positive, with a mild blue or mid blue it gives positive, and with a dark blue it gives strong positive. Now the interpretation, we provide this result card inside the kit only. So interpretation can be done by marking this, by noting these numbers and matching it with the report card. We can give them weak positive or mild positive. The higher version to detect the food intolerance is what we have introduced in India, is Generite system. It involves 221 foods, which is a microarray technology, which involves a 5 mm 5 mm chip, 5 mm by 5 mm chip in a one slide, which has 221 foods coated into one chip. And when we run, we get the test for 221 foods. It is basically a global panel, but the reports can be customized depending upon if you want for 40 foods, if you want for 60, 120 or 200, or the specialized food panels can also be customized, like if one wants for only vegetables, the one wants only for non-veg, or one wants for only vegans. the reports can be customized as such, but the report will be generated only for 221 foods. So as you can see here, this one small chip contains 221 food impregnated into that small chip. This is a nitrocellulose pad, and all the food extracts has been printed out into this nitrocellulose pad. This is the test format which has been generated after running the test, where you can generate a quantitative report against 221 foods. The red one indicates the elevated reaction to food, where if any food is coming positive to under this range of red or elevated, then the food has to be avoided for 3 months strictly. If it is coming to borderline, if it is coming to borderline, then the food can be taken in a rotated form, and if it is coming to green form, then it is normal or it is negative. Now the interpretation of the result, or after getting diagnosed to food intolerance, patients are mostly confused that what is the next step to be followed. The next step is, as I discussed, that in elevated form, or if the patient is coming strong positive with the food intolerance, then one has to avoid or eliminate the food, that positive reacted food, from their diet for 3 months, just for 3 months. And after 3 months, they can reintroduce the food back into their diet very slowly. Like if they are taking 5 chapatis in a day, they can eliminate the food. They have to eliminate that wheat from their diet, and again they can reintroduce after 3 months. They can start with 1 chapati or 2 chapati. If the result is in the borderline, then they have to reduce, or they can take the food in a rotated form of every 3 months. Like in every 3 months, they can rotate their food, and once they can eliminate and they can take it. Normal level, nothing has to be done. A person can take the food as they want to take it in a way. So, after getting the patient report, to eliminate the food, how to eliminate the food and how to monitor or how to regulate those nutrients to make a balanced diet, so that those nutrients should not be removed from their diet. We provide a patient guidebook which guides the patient how to monitor and regulate their diet. As I was discussing with you, that the managing of food intolerance, that once a patient is positive to food intolerance, to whatever food he is coming positive or she is coming positive to, they have to first know what is the positivity, and depending upon that positivity, they have to remove the food from their diet. But removing of the food or elimination of the food can also lead to the deficiency of the nutrients and other vitamins. Just to know, to maintain those nutrients and vitamins into their diet, they have to plan their food with the other subsidiary. After doing the food intolerance test, they can, if the patient is suffering or the patient is coming up with a leaky gut system, they can go for certain kind of immunotherapy to repair their leaky gut system and to repopulate their gut system with bacterial flora, which are friendly for digestion of certain food particles, and they can strengthen the immune system. And then after 3 to 6 months, they can reintroduce the food back into their diets. Within that period of time, they can see the symptoms are gradually decreasing. Apart from that, what we provide, that the scientific publications which are involved with food intolerance and the case studies has been noted. As you can see here, that many case studies or many scientific publications has been involved with all these kind of symptoms. It is involved with ADHD, it is involved with autism, it is involved with fertility, it is involved with gastro, skin condition, rheumatoid arthritis, migraine, and weight loss. patient has experienced, there are many case studies. We are now working with Indian case studies also, where we have found that patients are going through certain kind of symptoms, and when they have got tested with food intolerance, they found themselves after elimination of the food, within a week or within 2-3 weeks, they could found that the symptoms are getting suppressed, the symptoms are getting reduced, and they are recovering in a very better form. There are certain case studies which I have included here, that where one paper was published by Patel K and Kitris LT, where the nutritional and environmental approaches to prevent the treating autism and attention deficit hyperactive disorder. This review says that this was a global publication basically, but this review says that about 11% of students among the studied population has been found to be suffering from ADHD symptoms. And when the elimination of the diet has been done with the positive reactive food, the students were found to recover from their ADHD symptoms and autism symptoms. Various gastrointestinal symptoms are also linked with food intolerance. One study was made by Atkinson, Sheldon and Shad on food elimination based on IgG antibodies in irritable bowel syndrome, where the few patients were studied and found that the irritable bowel syndrome could be one of the cause due to food intolerance. And when they were tested with food intolerance and when they were diagnosed by food intolerance, when the positive reacted foods has been eliminated from their diet, they found the person to be recovered. We have one colleague in our office also who was suffering from irritable bowel syndrome, and when he also got tested for this intolerance, he also recovered and he also felt better. Now he is completely recovered from this kind of symptom. Another symptom which is very common, which we found in child, is chronic fatigue syndrome. The role of food intolerance plays a major involvement in chronic fatigue syndrome. Thus we can see that there are many symptoms which in day-to-day basis or in a very common way we can see in child. But what is the root cause of symptoms? What is the root cause of that symptom? It is very difficult to diagnose. This is now a very good concept in India which we have came up, that if a child being tested with this food intolerance, the positive reacted foods has been eliminated from their diet for just 3 months. We have seen that the child is recovering from those kind of symptoms. So this is all about food intolerance. Thank you.
Questions? Do you have the kit for this for food detective? Because it's quite amazing to see only one prick of blood giving result for 221 food allergens.
Sir, one prick of blood is only for 59 foods.
Okay, so for
and for 221 you need serum plasma.
Okay.
That is a quantitative method.
Okay, you have 221 small strips and you put.
No, it is a small chip. It is a 5 mm by 5 mm chip, which contains all the 221 food impregnated into that small chip.
Okay, do you need an analyzer for that?
It is a microarray technology.
Okay, you need an analyzer for that too.
Yeah, you require it. It is completely instrumentation based.
Oh. So how much does that cost?
That commercial part I can leave on mine then to discuss it.
That is more important. For now, you are told all depression, fatigue, joint pain. So we do all other things, CBC, this thing. So we should have food detective.
Sir, actually,
Exactly.
Should we do that?
Yes, SRL Metropolis and these are the places our instrument is there. Totally 9 instruments is there. Sir, totally 9 instruments are there all over India. One second.
I had a couple of queries. First of all, out of food intolerance, how much is it IgG? Because whatever I've talked to, most of the allergists from here and from the US, right now IgG is mainly believed to be neutralizing, right? So how much is the antibody antigen complex related? Because there's a tall order here that the autism and ADHD, So the studies that you have, how many studies? Because I know UK is a little bit different. from rest of, especially from the US, you need a little bit more research into it for it to be said that yes, this is the treatment, because how much of the food intolerance, because a lot of it is related to enzymes and all that, how much is in the antigen complex, which we are targeting with IgG?
Antigen antibody complexes means what is the...
That's the type 3 hypersensitivity, that's what you're saying, and that's
Yeah.
what you're targeting with your test,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
So, how much of it is really the cause? I mean, what research do we have there? As how much of the food intolerance that you had?
Okay.
is-
Globally, when the research was made, it was found that the 45% of the population is suffering from food intolerance, which is IgG-mediated hypersensitivity.
So
In
the body-
India, SRL has only done the study, and they found that 20% of Indian population or 20% of the studied population is suffering from food intolerance.
Right, but out of that you said all of it is IgG mediated.
Yes, yes. Food intolerance is basically with IgG antibodies only. It
Right,
is
there are
the
lot of-
IgG antibodies raised against the protein.
Right, but those IgG, are they causative? That's
Yeah.
what, because a lot of allergies don't believe that.
Yeah.
And so most of the, allergies, the most we think about is IgE,
Hmm.
which we talked about, the immediate hypersensitivity.
Hmm.
But the type 3,
Hmm.
how much of the IgE that you're seeing is causative? How much is just what we're finding in there?
Okay, if you see the symptom-wise, the studies in India has not been made, but the prevalence study regarding autism involved with food intolerance, ADHD involved with IgG, that prevalence is there. So
Yeah,
it
can
depends from country to country.
Yeah, can you provide me with some of that?
Yeah,
Because
definitely, I can
most of
provide
the-
you. I can provide you, ma'am.
Okay, because most of what I've read do not support that.
Yeah, I have certain papers related to that because I knew, because the concept of food intolerance is very difficult. It is very new in India. But
Not only in India and the US, I know that.
in US also.
Yes.
But now the concept has been well accepted by Indian population also. And now, firstly, there was a confusion between what is food allergy and food intolerance. Both are same thing. But now the consultants are also grabbing the concept, and they are also accepting with the fact that the food allergy is a different concept and food intolerance is a different methodology. So we have the prevalence study based on that. I can provide you. If you can provide your email ID, I can definitely provide you
Sure,
with
sure.
that.
I would love to see that because
Yes.
I've really not seen it in a lot of allergies.
Yes, sure, ma'am. In fact, with different symptoms also we have certain papers, so I can provide you with that. We have many research papers with that.
Okay. And one more thing I wanted to ask you for your allergo dip. When you say semi-quantitative, so that is the different colors that you will have.
Yeah, semi-quantitative, basically we have the gradation of the classes, that is +1, +2, +3, +4, depending upon the intensity of the color. That depends upon the positivity of the allergens, means positivity of Ig antibody against the allergens. That will give the intensity of the color. And based on that intensity of the color, you can match it with the color chart which we have provided inside the kit. And you can grade it. And since that gradation is there, that is of +1, +2, +3, +4, classes has been divided, we give it as semi-quantitative.
But is that you coming up with a correlation between the specific IgE and the color code? Because that's what is important, right? You need to know how much specific IgE, otherwise +1 and
Yes, yes,
+4,
yes.
there's a huge difference in what that could be.
Yes, we are coming up with that app. Any
And-
other?
Yeah, one more thing I wanted to point out, what you said, that a kid with a mild rash can progress. Now, not all kids. You have to
Yeah.
find an atopic kid to do a test. If you do a test in other kids, you're going to get a
No,
lot
it
of
is not
false
with all the
positives.
cases, but the severity may increase from a mild rash. If it is not been treated in a very early intervention, it may increase.
But you have to find the right child to do a test.
Yes, we have to find the right child to do
Yes.
the test. Exactly.
Thank you.
Any other queries?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you spoke about various diseases related to IgG mediated sensitivity, like food intolerance.
Hmm.
It's not here. Now, for example, I agree with you. I've read a lot about food intolerance and sensitivity. But what I haven't seen, I've seen a lot of ADHDs and gluten sensitivities and gluten intolerance and migraine and arthritis. There's a huge study which has been going on for the last 17 years, which says that especially for gluten, I can say that because which has caused migraines, depressions.
Celiac disease.
Celiac disease is known. That's abdominal symptom. I'm not even talking about abdominal symptoms of a gluten. I'm talking about extra abdominal symptoms,
Okay.
extra gastrointestinal symptoms, which you are talking about. When you talk about ADHD and things like that. But when you talk about ADHDs and migraines and depressions, do you, like Dr. Sonal said, do you have studies? Is there anything
Yes,
else
ma'am.
other than gluten? Because I
Yes,
know gluten for sure causes issues like
Yes,
this.
ma'am. There are studies. Gluten, of course, it is there, but there are other food proteins also which has not been it has not been said that okay, this food is causing ADHD. Like if wheat it is causing ADHD, it has not been shown it like that. But the studies are there where IgG has been involved with food intolerance, and it is one of the reason for other extra abdominal symptoms. There are many studies.
On other food proteins,
Yeah.
other food proteins and their related associations
Yes.
to other these
Yeah.
extra
It is
extra
not.
gastrointestinal.
It is not as you are telling me. It is not food based.
Okay.
It depends from person to person. The tolerance level is depend from person to person.
No, I agree with that. Yeah.
Like if I can digest the wheat, it does not mean that you can
You're
also
right.
digest the
Correct.
wheat.
Correct.
I might not be intolerant to wheat, but I have that symptom of migraine. That could be due to other food.
Okay. So no,
Like
that's
I had
exactly what
headache.
I'm asking.
I had headache. I was constantly having headache, but I was not. The food I came up with was very different. So, and the person, another colleague of mine, he was also having headache. He was he came up positive with another foods.
So yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Since gluten is the majorly studied grain because it forms the bulk, okay, of our intake world over. Anywhere you go, you have breads and pastas and Indian breads.
Yes.
So that's the most studied grain, and that's why you could find more associations and more studies
Right.
which run into number of years.
Right.
So my question to you was that have you got any more studies which talk about other food proteins causing similar
Not
stuff?
exactly the food related, but I can definitely search for it. What we have got is that food intolerance is involved with this kind of symptoms. That ADHD could be one of the reasons due to food intolerance. We have got this kind of research, but not on any specific food.
No,
But
I
as you
understand.
suggest me, I will definitely go through certain other research papers. I'll definitely talk to the CNS people also if they have
Because if
done-
you don't have the study on certain foods, then your whole talk wouldn't be very relevant.
But as I already discussed with you, that the symptoms which I have shown, they are related to food. But it could not be food specific. It depends from a person's body to person's
Correct,
body.
correct. So what you're saying is that we can pick up intolerances,
Yeah.
but you might not be able to give me the studies associated with it.
I have to find out, ma'am.
Okay,
I will find out.
thank you.
If I get anything, I'll definitely provide you.
So can we have the commercials of
Yes,
the test?
definitely. I'll just give to my intern.
Sir, all over India we are having 9 instruments presently, like SRL, Metropolis, then we are having it Onquest, so we are then Hinduja in Mumbai. So all the hospitals they are charging at the rate of 14,000 to 15,000 per test to the customer.
That is for
You can
everybody.
go through the net also. You can.
You're talking about food detective. What are you talking
Not
about?
food detector, ma'am. It is a FIT generate.
For the whole
Yeah,
panel, for
221.
59
No,
foods.
59 they are charging right now presently 6,000 rupees.
Oh, for 59.
Yeah. Like Apollo, then other places like Anand Diagnostics also.
But the talk we had, you said that it's going to be 850 to 1,000
that
rupees.
is allergy, ma'am.
Okay.
That is allergy. Right
No,
now.
no,
No, what are your charges?
What are
Like,
your-
Yeah, let us know
No,
your
that is
charges.
850. sir.
850, right?
850.
That's what I
Both
heard.
food India and inhalation India.
Mr. Mahendra, you have to tell what you are giving us. You are going to give us the strips
No,
that we would
actually,
use.
two things, ma'am. That is, you need the allergy or intolerance.
Intolerance.
Both. Talk about both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Allergy will be, food India will be 850, inhalation India will be 850. There are 2 strips.
But that is only how many numbers? You clearly
No,
explained to
23,
them.
23 and 22. 22
55.
allergens will be 850 and 23 allergens also 850 and 14
So
tolerance
no. So it comes to 1700 for both.
for
correct?
both.
For aeroallergens
For
and
both.
food. Huh.
That is 23 plus
22.
22. So 43. So 45 allergens.
But if you do for 221, how much will it cost?
The
No, that is
220 will be 14,000. That is intolerance.
The IgG mediated
No, IgG
intolerance.
and IgE. Both are.
I'll just explain
No, how much
you
is
again,
yours? Like you are saying that allergy thing is much lesser priced than the others, competitive
you
price.
don't need
so only it's,
machines, you don't
yeah.
need.
But what is the your competitive price for the food detective? Do you have any?
Food detect, that's the thing, sir. We are charging at the rate of 6,000.
So outside it is same.
No, for you, we will be giving at the rate of 3,500.
Outside they're charging 6,000
6,000.
for 59 food in food.
59.
And this
So,
food
doctor-
detective is what, IgE?
IgG.
IgG
Food
is the
detective,
intolerance.
food intolerance. Dr. Seema, is
Recently,
No,
Oh, she left?
She left?
She left.
so recently we have tested one laboratory with the doctor sample only. Doctor told that very clearly, I am intolerant to egg and milk. These two has to come in your kit. So we pick the sample immediately, we run the test. Both the things, we are eagerly waiting for the result. So both the things has came exactly, and doctor has given the order also. Before running the test, doctor has told that very clearly. I asked
So,
madam,
but, the-
madam whether you did any intolerance test previously. Madam told that no, I am having the symptoms, but I may be intolerant to that. But madam has not done the intolerance test. But madam has done with our test, and madam has got the same.
No, for this food intolerance, the symptoms for whom to this thing is very this thing. So I
You
say
have to
migraine, you have constipation, you
So
have
that we have to
this
judge,
thing.
sir. To which
So-
the customer we have to really go
So
for
now,
this.
the studies that you have, are those the company-sponsored studies, or you have other studies also, like by independent monitors?
So it is the third party studies, like doctors or the researchers, they have studied with the patients.
Okay.
It is not the company based study.
So you can talk with Dr. Seema and Dr. Belyappa and see how much kits you can provide, and then based on this thing,
No.
because we are at the bottom of the pyramid. Next we'll be talking.
You've got to
We
be a
can't,
little bit more clear.
be-
You've got to be a little bit more clear as to what
What
we
you're
are
giving.
looking at.
Yeah.
So remember, you spoke about the fact the strip tests are the ones which you are going to provide us in our lab, and we run it independently on our
Yes.
own.
That is allergy.
That's IgE mediated
Yeah, that's
allergy
allergy.
strips.
Allergy.
And the
Correct.
other IgG needs auto analyzers, and you need a serum sample and you need a whole
No,
kit.
ma'am.
No, in
I just explained it to you. The IgE, what you were explaining, and the IgG for 59 foods, it does not require any analyzer.
Okay.
It does not require any analyzer. It is a plate which will have all the 59 foods
Oh.
imprinted into it. And you just run the basic ELISA procedure, which
So
you
the
will
cost
have
of
all
doing
the...
it here?
Sorry?
The cost of doing it here?
No, we'll be
cost-
giving at
You buy the
3,500.
kits.
Yeah, how
and
much
you
is it?
run.
How much is it?
He'll
No,
give you the quote.
3,500. sir.
Huh? 3,500.
Yeah,
Oh.
and then you charge what you want to
59
charge.
foods, no instrument is required.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's a rapid.
Yeah, so
And-
but you need to get a serum and plasma, right? So that
Yeah.
we
No,
have.
for
No,
that
for
whole
59 food, you just
Whole
require
blood.
a finger prick blood.
Oh,
Whole
okay.
blood.
It's a
Only-
finger prick blood which you can take it with a capillary. All the basic consumables starting from your lancet, alcohol swabs, band-aid, everything has been provided inside the kit. We have two pack size. I'll be more clear. We have two
Right.
pack size. One is one patient, one test, and one is with 5 patients. So depending upon the workload in the laboratory, we suggest this kind of pack sizes. So all the basic consumables for both these pack sizes are inside the kit. You just require a patient, take the lancet, prick the finger, and take the blood with a capillary, put it into the sample diluent. That one sample diluent is for one test. Similarly, for 5 tests, we will have 5 sample diluent inside the kit. So all the basic consumables are inside the kit. Nothing you require outside the kit.
So a demo would be a much better.
Yeah, it would be.
Even better.
You
And you should have bought the.
They have to train the lab.
Yeah.
Basically.
A demo from.
Basically, this kit, no equipment is
Yeah, that's
from
what.
the lab.
But if you
Usually-
show us, if you know equipment is
I'll
required.
just check it up if I have the video, then I can show it to you.
Yeah, that is also a good idea.
Yeah, I'll show it to you.
Okay. Yeah, and next the 221 that requires a
Okay, the 221 we have a specialized instrumentation for that. We have the instrument for that. So if you want to go for 221, then you have to purchase that instrument. That MRP for that instrument, I think.
It's a 16 lakhs, 16.
forget it.
And the per test cost what laboratories are charging, it is varying from 14,000 to 16,000. It depends upon lab what they want to charge.
If we want to this thing, send it to Anand or something, that's what we're going to do. But that you have to tell me. Analyze it.
Anand and
No,
Apollo, what they are doing
SRS.
is for the 59 foods.
59 only, sir.
59.
In Bangalore, nobody is having 221.
In Bangalore at present nobody is doing. And there are only 7 installation across India which has been done. The biggest among them is Dr. Lal's and SRL they are doing.
Then, but I think we should stick to only 59 and allergy.
59, no investment is required, so only we
Yeah,
have
that's
to
what
buy
you have
the
to
kit
do a
and-
demo.
Those are the most common Indian
Demo
panels.
and convince our lab and also our Dr. Beliappa and
The patient not being.
to order the doctors also to order the test.
Any
You
kit,
know, not only
any kit what we, it has to match with the clinical symptoms.
yeah.
So in Apollo, Dr. Anantrao is doing our test, that is a food detective. Every time he says that your kit is absolutely working. What are
No,
the
we need a demo.
Yes,
All
yes.
the doctors, if you show a demo, then
Yes,
only
yes.
they'll order the
Definitely,
test.
sir, we'll-
Then you can
And some
think of putting
papers
it here.
to
Yeah.
back up what it is.
Sure.
Finally,
Sure.
the patient has to come down the symptoms. Then only we'll be getting the things for sir. The book-
Sure, that's
your
that's
product-
one more thing I wanted to ask. No, all the this thing symptoms what you told. There are other tests to be done, so we can't say include this test also. So migraine and all. So
That's high level of suspicion, high index of suspicion then, yeah.
Or you can do it in a reverse. That first you go for food intolerance test.
that is you have to convince us to do that because we are not.
I am very sure that once you start with, the workload will be generated, and we are always there to support you with any form. We are there to support you also to increase the workload. And in fact, we both will be following up. I will be following up from HO once you start the kit. So you need not to worry about the marketing support. We will definitely give you that. But I can give you only one confidence that once you start up with this test, you will definitely get a result for this.
Sure,
Because
we'll
many customers, they were very skeptical about this test, but when they started, they are getting huge volumes now.
No.
And that is how now the concept has been well built in India.
Sure, I think both the patients and the doctors need to know about this. You
Yeah.
can put up a banner or something or this
Yes.
thing. That also should help for them to know and get the test done.
Yeah,
I'd like
regarding
to
the
do this.
promotion, regarding the marketing activity, we can discuss, or you can discuss with Mahendran. We can sit across and discuss, and we'll definitely whatever you require, we can definitely.
Sure, we'll look
discuss
forward to that.
about. Okay.
Okay, thanks. The very good presentation.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Dr. Sir. Thank you.
Now I request Dr. Belli.
Yeah.
Flower
You're not
giving
good at
ceremony.
flowers. Madam can.
Dr.
Not Gurmeet.
I thought you were Dr. Beliappa.
No, no.
All right.
No, no.
Jeez.
Madam.
Thank you for the wonderful
Thank you so much,
presentation.
ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Surely we'll look forward for the demo and practical implementation of what you
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
I request Dr. Belli.
Oh, this is Dr. Beliappa's presentation?
Hi, good evening. I'll make it short, getting all late. So my practice is basically at the bottom of the pyramid. I try to diagnose as quickly as possible. If I cannot manage, I refer. I'm basically a traffic cop and a policeman. I just go through some case studies. I saw a 57-year-old lady. She she had abdominal fullness, 3 to 6 months duration. I advised her for a health check. Health check, everything was okay, except she had minimal ascites. The RAD advised that we repeat the ultrasound after 7 days, and they said it was resolved. I advised for a CT scan, abdomen and colonoscopy. The patient said she would consider. 3 months later, the patient went to Sweden. She had abdominal pain. She was taken up to the emergency. She was opened up. They found she had carcinoma of the appendix with peritoneal carcinomatosis. And then they started chemotherapy with Folfox and Avastin, 2 drugs. She came back to Bangalore. And in Manipal, they tried what's called as hyperthermia peritoneal cytoreduction. But because it already spread, nothing more could be done. And now the patient is back in India. She lost weight. She doesn't have more than 1 or 2 years to live. So the lesson that I've learned from this is that the health check is not the know-all or everything. You have to be very careful. And probably I should have been a little more aggressive and probably told her to undergo the CT scan, which would have picked it up easily. And we could have had a diagnosis. The difference from the time I diagnosed to 3 months, and now she's back back from Sweden, and she has about 1.5 years to go. That's what she says. And she has a chemo port where she goes to Manipal for her chemotherapy sessions. Next patient, a routine neck swelling, a 37-year-old male with a cervical neck swelling of 2 years duration. I suggested we do an excision biopsy, a differential diagnosis of COX or Kikusis. That's a Japanese terminology for a diagnosis of fever with lymphadenopathy. I've seen few cases like that. So how many of you in favor of FNAC or excision biopsy? FNAC, please raise your hand. Okay, 1. Excision biopsy? Okay, so we all agree that numbers are more, that excision biopsy is more safer than doing an FNAC. So what was the diagnosis they found?
Wow.
They found that it turned out to be cystic cirrhosis.
Oh my God.
So you never know what can happen. So what's the treatment? We know albendazole is the drug of choice, 400 milligrams for 30 days, and praziquantel also can be used. We gave him for 30 days. We checked an X-ray of the spine. We did an X-ray of the chest. We did ultrasound of the abdomen and a CT of the brain to make sure that there was no cysticercosis anywhere else. So everything else is clear, and now he has no other issues. Okay, this is the next question to you all. Tuberous lymphadenitis. These are 3 options I'm giving you. 4 drugs. I stands for INH, rifampicin, pyrazimide, ethambutol. 4 drugs for 2 months and 2 drugs for 4 months. TB lymphadenitis, or 4 drugs and 2 months plus 3 drugs for 7 months, or is it 2 drugs in 2 months and 2 drugs in 7 months? What's the right answer? A, B, or C?
Second. 4 drugs for 2 months and 3. No. Just
What's the right answer? Anybody can tell me what's the right answer? They can guess. Is it option 1, 2, or 3?
2 drugs for 2 months and 2 drugs for
7 months.
3. TB lymphadenitis, third option.
The option is, if it's just tuberculous lymphadenitis and nothing else to sputum, the option is 1. 4 drugs for 2 months and then 2 drugs for 4 months. So only making it a course of 6 months. The third patient, a 45-year-old man with left-sided pain abdomen radiating from the left hypochondrium to the left iliac fossa, diagnosed as a left ureteric colic. How many would you suggest a CT or an ultrasound? How many would go for ultrasound in this case? Okay, how many would go for a CT?
First ultrasound.
Okay,
then
nobody
CT.
wants to do any
First ultrasound, then CT.
Okay, so now this person is a little obese. You'll see what happened. The diagnosis was a CT finding, which is basically what the arrow shows. There are fat sacs which surround the colon, and these fat cells pouches can get inflamed. What is called as appendigitis. So basically, diagnosis was appendigitis, not the left. And also want to caution that in a left ureteric colic, this type of finding, you can also have sometimes a left renal artery stenosis can present like this. So as doctors, we should look for bruise also, which sometimes we might miss. This is another finding, not very clear, but the arrow is there. It's called paniculitis. Another patient we had, pain abdomen, inflammation of the subcutaneous tissue. So you see the abdomen is only a huge Pandora's box, and even with CT scan, there are other diagnoses like appendicitis and paniculitis, which I did not know. Did any of you know of appendicitis? Epiploid appendicitis. They get inflamed, it's called appendicitis. Paniculitis is soft subcutaneous tissue inflammation. One other lady, 65 lady, bleeding from the right nipple 15 days. 1 year back, her mammo was negative. So mammo was done, suggested query malignancy. Under ultrasound guided FNAC, we picked up intraductal cancer. The FNAC was done by the surgeon, and the pathologist came up with the diagnosis of intraductal cancer. The patient came to me, and I said, you have to do surgery, radiotherapy, chemotherapy, usual foot in the mouth disease that I have. And then the patient was not very comfortable. Anyway, I referred her to the oncologist at Manipal. So the oncologist, what did he say? No, nothing to worry, just a minor surgery, I'll do only a lumpectomy. So she came back and said, you scared me, this, that and all that. Only lumpectomy is going to be done. So I'm not the only one who would suffer from foot in the mouth. On the table, mastectomy was done. So things keep changing. So I just wanted to bring to your notice a few things. Another thing is that malignancy is on the rise. I've seen 1 or 2 patients who did not do a CT scan brain, and it turned out to be glioma. There are a couple of children who got picked up from here, but turned out to be Burkitt's lymphoma. So as a physician, I think we all should be more cautious and be careful to pick up malignancies on the rise. Any questions I can take? Finish.
Thank you, Dr. Beliappa.
Okay, thank you very much.
For the rare disease presentation.